550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
Hey.
Hi, late night lovers.
Late night lovers. I like that.
Yes, late night lovers. Hello. We are doing our Friday night Totiwaba rewind, and there was a huge chunk of time where me and Bree just kind of went state by state over cases that happened throughout the United States. And Arizona was one that we did, and we had such a fun time, and we talked about some pretty big cases during it. So we thought, what a perfect episode to bring to you guys on a Friday night.
Yeah, I think that this one's going to be cool. It made me laugh doing it, so...
Absolutely.
I hope it makes little Jamie laugh.
It will. And we'll see you guys in the chat. We're going to watch it with you. And then we'll come back on and talk to you guys, open up the stream, and, have a little bit of party if you guys are into it.
Sounds good.
All right. See you on the other side.
On the other side.
Hey guys, this is Georgia with Ancient Aliens, and you're listening to That One Time I Was Abducted by Aliens with Jamie and Bree.
You're listening to That One Time I Was Abducted by Aliens. I'm Jamie.
I'm Bree, and we're two sides of the coin. Welcome back to another episode, guys. How's it going?
Today I'm feeling fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing pretty great.
Oh, wow. What is our episode about tonight?
Tonight we're going to talk about some pilot sightings.
And not just any pilots, but we're talking about Arizona pilots in particular. And we're going to tie it all into the Navy kind of coming out and saying that they're finally going to be taking these pilot sightings a little bit more seriously.
About damn time.
So why don't we start off with an old case, and one of our favorites, to me at least, that's near and dear to my heart, and the big man himself, Kurt Russel, and the Phoenix Lights.
The Phoenix Lights is definitely on the top of the list as far as UFO sightings. It's very well known. On March 13th, 1997, it was the mass sighting of a mile-wide V-shaped formation of lights silently gliding over the entire state of Arizona. The sighting was witnessed by commercial pilots, traffic controllers, and thousands of civilians. It was approximately about 10,000 people, maybe more, had witnessed this sighting between 5:30 p.m. to as early as 2 a.m. in the morning. A lot of people thought that this was a show. This was a display of the craft itself. This wasn't something that was just kind of hanging out and then vanished. This is a large chunk of time, and it was a huge area that it covered. Kurt Russel, when he was doing his promotional tour for Guardians of the Galaxy, happened to be on a television show, and they brought up the Phoenix Lights. There was one pilot in particular that reported the sighting of the Phoenix Lights and kind of played it back to him. And he said, oh yeah, it's a crazy story. My wife was watching a story on the Phoenix Lights one day when I came home. And when they read the pilot story, it clicked in my head that that was me. So sure as shit, he checked his logs and it was him. He was the pilot that had reported seeing the lights. He took his son out to meet a friend and was like, I'll give you a ride over there. They see the lights and his son says, Dad, are we going to be okay? Like, what the hell is that? And he's like, I don't know. So he calls it in to air traffic control and they're like, we don't see anything on our radar. So do you want to report this? And he says, yeah. But what's weird to him is that he completely forgot about that sighting and about him reporting it. It completely left his mind as well as his son's mind. They never talked about it again until that time where he was faced at it again when his wife was watching the show. And then it was like, whoa, how did I forget seeing this, not talk about it with my son? A decade or so has gone by since, and now I remember, oh shit, that pilot was me.
It seems very reminiscent to me personally about like mine and yours experiences that we had when we were younger, and it happened and we just never talked about it and never thought about it ever again until like later in life. We were like, oh, holy shit, this stuff happened, and we never told anyone or like never really even acknowledged it yourself.
So it's kind of interesting to see that parallel, because that's also something that kind of happened to us, where like it's pushed into the back of your brain, whether that be your subconscious doing it or let's say the extraterrestrials, maybe doing the whole Men in Black whiteout pen thing where it's like you will forget. But the mind's a crazy powerful place. And I think even if you don't have that knowledge, it's always back there somewhere. And it's interesting the things that spark it and get it to come back into the frontal part of your brain.
It's really interesting to watch him talk about this. That was kind of also the first interview I realized that I wasn't a fan of Chris Pratt, because he was not a believer. And I just felt like it was so rude. I was just like, oh no, I don't think that's real. And it's like, obviously he was a pilot. He was a commercial airline pilot at the time.
And you're in the goddamn Guardian of the Galaxy, and you're going to have the audacity, like during a press interview, to be like, I don't think aliens are really like a thing, you guys.
Yeah, it was like a joke. He was laughing. Mm-hmm. What's even more interesting is that Kurt Russell's wife, Goldie Hawn, she was the one that was watching the documentary on the Phoenix Lights, which is a pretty good documentary. She apparently is an experiencer herself.
Yes, she is.
And I guess she wrote about it in a book. I couldn't find it anywhere. I'm like, do I really have to go and buy the book to read about her story?
We might have to, although I could probably find it on Reddit.
Oh, that's a good idea. You should look for it. But it's interesting that he had that connection of almost like a mind wipe in that moment. One thing that's a common thread throughout everyone's stories with the Phoenix Lights is that it had an impact on them. So he's the only story I really have heard where it's just you forgot and you blank slated, because every other person, they each have their own version of what happened. And one thing I find very common is that people feel like time had stopped, time slowed down. They felt like it was conscious in a way, like they felt some type of intelligence behind it. And a lot of people, it sparked an interest in them. It sparked this feeling of excitement and wonder and joy.
So it wasn't like just seeing a bunch of lights in the sky and they're just like, ooh, what a pretty display, or like, ooh, like what if it's military? You're telling me that all of these people, no matter what their story was, at the end of the day, they were like, I saw these lights and they filled me with joy and I seemed very hopeful. And it seemed like something very smart was behind it, and they were reaching out to tell us something.
They were very wondrous about it. It was like seeing something magnificent that for each person, you could tell it touched them on that emotional level.
Are you jealous that we weren't there to witness it?
I am. I saw the documentary eons ago. It used to be on Netflix back when nothing was ever on Netflix besides The Office and some other random show like Weeds. And at the time, hearing the detailed accounts of the craft that people saw, from afar, they look like just these little lights, because that's just what the camera can capture. So everyone can go and you can watch it. But to hear the description of these people's stories of what they saw, this thing being so giant and seeming like it is hovering over their heads almost. Some people felt like they could jump up and touch it. It would black out the stars. And in between the lights, it was like an enclosed light. They were calling it an orb because the light didn't expand outside of the circle itself. Like it was an enclosed light. And that in between these lights, there was a ripple, like a gunmetal ripple. And one description that just made perfect sense in my mind was on a hot day when you're looking at the asphalt and you're looking at the horizon of the asphalt waves. And you see the vapor waves, that's exactly what the material looked like in between these orbs.
So I have a question for you. Was there a lot of footage, like whether it be video or like pictures or things like that for this specific event?
Yeah, anyone could go out and look at the pictures and the videos.
So what do you make of all that? So, we have a lot of people who tell us like, oh, you don't have video proof or pictures of this thing. Well, you have, what is it? Like over 10,000 people witnessed it. I would assume that people would have taken pictures and videos. So why isn't the documentation from this case something that's more talked about?
It seems, though, that every year it does get brought up. I know in that Arizona area, it definitely is. Whenever there's like the anniversary, they'll do like a quick story. I know it was all over the news at the time. So it was a big deal. Of course, a lot of time has gone by since 1997, but there's still, I think every once in a while, there's like, oh, the anniversary of the Phoenix Lights. What's even more interesting, the backstory of that, Dr. Lynn Kitai, she is the woman that put all of this together. Her footage is the main footage that is out there. But an interesting backstory of her, she's seen these orbs previous times. She saw them 2 years ago. She has 2 other photographs of 2 different sightings that she saw in the same area. So her house was on a hillside and it overlooked the valley, which is when, if you type this in, you'll see that picture, the main picture of like a hillside looking over the valley where the lights are. That's her footage. So she's been seeing these things almost around the same time. One, I believe, was like late January, and a couple months later is when like the mass sighting happened. So for her, it was extremely emotional because that was the 3rd time that she was able to capture orbs out in that area. And of course, Arizona has a huge background of tribe stories and stuff with sightings in general. Of course, I think we've talked before that there has to be some strange connection with the desert areas.
Yeah, I think there's something, I think we've said before, there has to be some sort of like vortex out there, or portal, or Stargate, or whatever it is that, you know, there's something that opens up in this Arizona area, and who knows the why, reason, or any of those things, but it's rather interesting that it's in this area, because isn't Phoenix, Arizona not too far from Roswell?
New Mexico?
Yeah. Isn't that not too far from Roswell? It's like, what, 500 miles? That's not that far off.
I think that whole area, really, especially Arizona in particular. But what I do like about the story is that at the time she called air traffic control. They didn't see anything. They checked with Sky Harbor, which was the airport, which is where Kurt Russell was flying into. They reported that first they didn't see anything. And then 3 objects popped up on their radar. They didn't know what it was, and then it disappeared again. So it's something that wasn't on radar when everyone was reporting it, popped up, and then disappeared again. That's already suspicious. They called the military area. They weren't doing any tests that day. But then, of course, months later, they came out and said, oh no, we were like testing flares or something stupid like that. But I also saw on another TV show, I don't remember what it was called, but they tested that theory out. And they did a whole bunch of flares at the time, and they dropped all at different altitudes.
They could never sync all of the lightings of the flares and the droppings of them at the same time.
And that would be just that would be just like falling down from the sky. That wouldn't be something that is on all the same level and that glides over the state of health.
Yeah, that's like hovering.
Arizona,
yeah.
I mean. That doesn't make any sense. It'd be one thing if it was noticed in only one area, but this was something that was almost statewide, glided over people's heads. Every person that saw it said absolutely not, that was not a flare, not even close. You cannot say it's a flare. So I think it's a really interesting story, and I hope to God that I could see something like that in my lifetime.
Well, let's talk about, about 11 years later, and this is on February 24th, 2018. We have 2 separate airline pilots from 2 different airlines claiming that they witnessed some sort of unidentified flying object flying over their airplanes. So according to these radio logs, they're pilots of a Lear jet operated by Phoenix Air. An American Airlines flight saw an object going the opposite direction of them over their plane. And so right now, before we even discuss it, what we're going to do is I'm going to play for you guys the audio that was released of these 2 planes calling in what they're seeing.
Number 71 Papa Golf, go ahead.
And was anybody above us that passed us like 30 seconds ago?
Number 71 Papa Golf, negative.
Okay. Stop this. It's a UFO. Yeah.
American 1095, let me know if you see anything pass over you here in the next 15 miles.
You know if anything passes over?
American 1095, affirmative. We had an aircraft in front of you. It's 37 that reported something pass over him, and we didn't have any targets. So just let me know if you see anything pass over you.
I don't know what it was. It wasn't an airplane, but it passed us going the opposite direction.
Maintain Final 380, American 672.
Hey, it's American 1095. Yeah, something just passed over us. Like a, don't know what it was, but it's at least 2,000-3,000 feet above us. Yeah, it passed right over the top of us.
Okay, American 1095, thank you.
Yes, center, Delta 1755, checking in 320.
And Delta 1755, Albuquerque Center. American 1095, can you tell if it was in motion or just hovering?
Make it out whether it was a balloon or whatnot, but it was just really either bright or had a big reflection on it several thousand feet above us going opposite directions.
Okay, Roger. American 535, cross Tucson at a maintain flight level 260.
Cross Tucson, flight level 260, American 535.
American 1618, climb and maintain flight level 330.
Climb and maintain flight level 330, American 1618. Was it a Google balloon? UFO.
FlexJet 526, contact LA Center 133.2.
So it's interesting because, these pilots are like, yo, this thing is above us. It's going the opposite direction. It seems to be going quicker than our airplane is going, and it seems to be incredibly large. And it's interesting that it's not just one pilot, but it's two different pilots who are seeing it. And, air traffic control even calls into this other plane like, hey, do you see this weird anomaly that this other plane is seeing? And, they're like, no, nothing over here. And then sure as shit, right after that sentence, it's like, oh, wait, nope, it's here now. We see it.
Yeah, it's kind of exciting.
We have these pilots who are obviously highly trained people, right? You have to be highly trained to be a pilot. It's not like anyone can just pick up the keys to an airplane and be like, I got this shit. I know you push a button and then you go. It's not that simple. Not only that, but, these people who are spending, thousands of hours in the air, I don't know how many hours you need to even, get your license, but I know it's there's a lot of hours logged that you have to be up in the air before you can get this license. They're obviously used to seeing other airplanes, weather balloons, whatever the hell happens to you, birds, just regular balloons. Who knows what the fuck is up, at that high or what they see, but they see it all the time. It's not like they were like, hey, there's a weird plane flying above us. It obviously was something that they did not recognize. So you have to take that into effect because a pilot is obviously going to know what a fucking plane looks like in the air. They see them all the time when they're flying with other planes around. And if something's going above you at a speed that's faster than an airplane should be, going in a direction it probably shouldn't be going in. A pilot of all people, if it was a random person on the plane who went and knocked on the door, I saw something weird out of my window. Of course, we would all be like, oh, we don't know. Do you fly a lot? Do you know what the shit in the sky looks like? But these are pilots of two different planes who are full blown I don't know what this is. And I know a lot of people, when this first came out, the first thing that the government threw out there was, oh, it's just a weather balloon. Again. So, hey, if you guys know how weather balloons work, I don't think the weather balloon would have been going the opposite direction of the plane. Let's say the plane's going west. I don't think the weather balloon's going east. Guys, it's not really steer everywhere.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that. Also, weather balloon doesn't go that fast. Also, I don't think a weather balloon is that fucking big. And again, if you're a pilot, you know what the fuck a weather balloon looks like. Why wouldn't they just call in and been like, oh, there's a weird weather balloon above us?
Plus, they don't just drop weather balloons in every area that planes are coming to and fro. Our air is very scheduled.
Exactly. It seems a little sketchy to me that, they were basically over an airport and you're going to put a weather balloon up there. That just seems so ridiculous to me.
And air traffic control would have known that there was a weather balloon. They would have off the bat said, oh, don't worry about that. That's whatever. They would have told them right then and there.
Exactly. All of this really ties into the Navy coming out and being like, hey, listen, America, we've heard your cries. Every goddamn TV show that comes out recently is about goddamn aliens. People keep talking about it. Fine. We are officially putting in place a new code of conduct for us to actually take these sightings, write them down, put a report in, and investigate it. There's not necessarily an exact, here's the form you fill out, this is what we do, but they're putting in these new guidelines in order to, at least try to get this information inside of a manageable, organized way so that they can go back and look back at it. A big reason that they're doing this is not necessarily because they're worried about UFOs, because let's be realistic, it's the government and it's a military thing. I'm not going to come right off the bat and be like, we believe in aliens, so we're going to check this down. A lot of the things that the U.S. Navy is saying is oh, well, what if, these people who are seeing these quote unquote UFOs are really seeing a Russian spy craft, right? And we're not taking it seriously because we're laughing at them haha, you think you saw a UFO? But really, what if they saw something that was actually dangerous? And then years later, let's say we capture an enemy spy plane and it looks just like a fucking UFO. And then you have to go back and be oh shit, all these pilots who have been warning us for years, what do we make out of that? So I think that the necessity of the reporting and how they're going to do this isn't because of aliens, but I think it's because they want to document it so that way if something in the future happens, they can look back and be like, here were all the warning signs that we never looked into.
But they did that a really long time ago. It was like the late 40s that they had a way to report their UFO sightings. I feel like this is something that they already do, and this is just another example of another drip in the process of disclosure. I think that we would be really stupid to assume that they didn't have this in place already.
And I'm going to have to agree with you 100%. It smells very fishy to me that for years and years, the government has been very like, if you talk about UFOs, you're kooky and it's a phenomenon and like you guys are all crazy and we're not into it. But like slowly the government over time has been like, okay, maybe we'll take it seriously. They give you very roundabout reasons, but that would be very asinine to me to think that a bunch of pilots reporting something wasn't written down somewhere. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like they have to have it somewhere. Whether or not they are doing anything with that information, who knows? And maybe that's what this is. They're finally going to do stuff with this information and really look into it. It's very interesting to me that they probably have all this information. I couldn't imagine. That's like, going to my employer and being like, I was sexually harassed. And them just like taking the information and being like, okay, but like not writing it down. You know what I mean? Like it's going to go somewhere. Whether or not you do something with it, that's another story. But there has to be documentation. I mean, even just like with like the flight record that they released, the audio of the people calling it in. All of that's recorded somewhere. Mm-hmm. There's probably hundreds and hundreds of these pilot conversations between the FFA and pilots talking about these different things that they see. All of that's on record somewhere. You can't tell me that the government doesn't have some of it somewhere.
It's got to be archived somewhere.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
There's no way they just toss it.
Maybe the Catholic Church has it.
I just think that the government's always 15 steps ahead of us. If we're hearing something and they're saying it's just in the works, they're like, oh, yeah, we're writing a draft for it. I think it's been done. It could also just be another way to make pilots feel heard. They already know what UFO it is. They already know the alien clan that's in there, but it's a way for them to report it and to feel heard and like, okay, we're going to look at this and get back to you.
Well, maybe that's part of it because, we have a lot of these deathbed confessions that we're getting a lot recently because we're getting to that age where a lot of these people who were around for these kind of phenomenons and things are getting up there in age. What if there's just like a bunch of pilots who are finally like putting their fist down and they're like, look, we've kept quiet long enough and I can't do it anymore. Everybody thinks I'm batshit fucking crazy, but like, this is what I saw. And so maybe it's just the government coming out and solving a problem because they have to. You know what I mean?
And it's a quick, simple way.
Exactly. Maybe their hands are tied. It's like, look, all these people keep fucking saying things out in the public because they assume we're not doing anything. At some point, you have to come out and be like, hey, guys, yeah, we're looking at it. You're good. Lower your voices, inside voices. Don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
We got it covered. This is now a government issue and you can no longer talk about it. You know what I mean?
It's definitely a way, I think, for people to stop talking about it and get over it because it's like we're already looking at it. We're taking it seriously. Now move on. Now we can stop talking about the pilot stories. Don't worry. The big boys are looking at it. Mm-hmm. I do think it's a quick way to shut people up now or just not really pay attention.
I will say that I would really greatly love it if a pilot would come on our show and let us interview them.
Awesome.
So let's like throw it out there into the universe. Hey, universe of listeners, are you a pilot? Are you Kurt Russell? Because if you're Kurt Russell and or a pilot, come on over to us. Let us interview you. It'd be super fun. We'll keep you anonymous. We can even like mask your voice behind something to like make you sound like a robot when you talk to us. But I think that'd be fun. And I think we could get some good information.
Calling all pilots.
Well, I'd really like to hear like
Mike wanted
some pilots, what they think about this new policy that's coming out. If they also just think it's a bunch of bullshit or like if they're excited to be able to actually finally have somebody tell it to, like they go online to a secret government website and they enter in all the details, you know what I mean? Like it'd be interesting to see what's going to go on with all of that. So if there's any pilots out there, you know where to find us. All right, guys, let's get into this week's Factor Sci-Fi. So this week we have a time traveler claims to have a photograph of a real live Tyrannosaurus Rex. A time-traveling whistleblower has come onto the YouTube channel Apex TV and claims to have traveled back to the dinosaur ages. And he even snapped a photo of a living, breathing Tyrannosaurus Rex. The unknown and unnamed man says his job is to time travel to different historical events and document them. He claims to have witnessed the Gettysburg Address and also the signing of the Declaration of Independence. On his latest trip back to the past, he said he went 66 million years back and snapped a picture of this T-Rex himself. He also claims that it was covered in purple feathers and not scales like we would normally think a T-Rex has. So, Brie, have I showed you the picture?
Yeah.
Okay, so give it to me.
Sci-fi.
Oh, quick and easy. I'm going to have to sci-fi it as well. And, the reason we did this one this week is it's so blatantly sci-fi. But I thought I'd throw something fun in there because I saw it and it made me giggle. And I knew that a lot of people would comment on it and be like, that's crazy. No, that's not real. That's so wild. And that's literally what happened. So let's see what some of our Patreons have said about this. J Plus on Instagram says, no, ... laugh out loud. And I asked him to explain, and he basically said, if we're going by the picture you posted, then yes, I call bullshit. However, time travel is not off the table, which is important because I think we all do believe in time travel. Pinball Bobby says, wasn't there an episode of Sliders about this? And when I told him that I don't know what Sliders is, he made fun of me. And then I told him that it was on Coast to Coast. And he said that because it's on Coast to Coast, it's 100% true. AP says, maybe. I think she middle bitched herself on that one.
Yeah.
Which is funny because you did not believe in Bigfoot, but you might possibly believe in this purple feather-covered dinosaur from a time traveler. It's very interesting. I'm not hating or anything. It's just interesting. Adam says, oh, that's obviously legit. He time traveled to 1997 to use the computers of that time to make a shitty Photoshop travesty, which I find funny. I like that one. Matt says, the areas of northern Mexico and southern Arizona were desert even then. Where is the foliage, trees, or even other dinosaurs? Maybe this is a glamour shot photo in which T-Rex got all dolled up and pretty in front of a desert backdrop to impress her husband. I'm going sci-fi in the actual picture, but fact on my own theory of a Cretaceous glamour shot. Jan says, we knew they had feathers since the Jurassic Park documentary. This is obviously old news. Destiny said, so I'm going to have to look at his YouTube channel, but I think I'm going sci-fi. I mean, the atmosphere was completely different 66 million years ago, and I'm struggling to think that he could even breathe properly. Laugh out loud. I believe in time travel, but I don't believe in this guy. And I'm going to agree with that one. I think the overall consensus of this factor sci-fi is like a hard sci-fi.
Total bullshit. Now let's get into our conscious quote of the day. Today's conscious quote of the day is by Bashar. All fear is a reaction to something you believe to be true. You don't have a feeling about anything if you don't first have a definition or belief about that thing, that circumstance, or situation. That's what fear is for. It is there to tell you you have a belief that is out of alignment with who and what you truly are.
So I like that quote. If I had to list out my fears, my one fear that I have is of spiders. Like for real, spiders for sure. But I think I'm not afraid of death.
I think that's easier said than in real life. I think when we all face death in the eye, I think it's easy for us to say we're not afraid of that until we get there.
That's kind of raises an issue with me. So I think that there's two different things when you talk about the fear of death. I think it's the fear of your life ending, and then there's the fear of the actual death itself. I think I would be more inclined to be in fear of the death itself because I don't know how it's going to happen and what if it's painful or whatever. But the thought of actually dying and coming to an end is not something I'm fearful of, where I think a lot of people are.
Yeah, because it's when you find out what is really the truth or not.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people just want to stay on Earth for a long time, so they have that fear of death. Whereas I think that there's greater weird universe shit that's going to happen. So I'm let's get to the end. I'm excited for it. Not saying that I'm just trying to end it early or anything. I'm just saying that I'm not afraid for what's going to come after.
Yeah, I got you.
What's your fear?
Banging, loud noises. That's why, I don't like guns. I don't like balloons.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So not necessarily a bang on a wall or something. You're just more talking loud sounds.
Like a pop, like a bang.
That are out of place.
It's a sudden bang. That's what a gunshot is. And that's when a balloon pops. It's like a bang.
Well, we know why you have that fear.
We don't really know. We suspect.
But do you think my fear of spiders is because maybe in a past life I died from spiders?
I don't know.
I just think they're fucking weird. I'm even afraid to step on them. If I see it in my house, I want to make someone else come over to kill it. Because I think, what if my foot misses and then it crawls up my leg?
We've taken this quote a little bit too literally. The quote is really saying, though, that fear in general, most fears that people have is because they have an idea of what that really means. And most of the time, that's not really what it is. It's we create all these things in our head of what could possibly happen from something. And it's all just thought. It's all things that we've made up in our head.
I like that.
All right.
Thanks so much for listening this week, you guys. If you guys want to get a hold of us,
Shoot us an email at thatonetimeIwasabducted@gmail.com.
find us on Instagram at thatonetimeIwasabducted.
Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and all social media platforms.
And make sure you guys check out our Patreon if you feel like giving us $1 a month to help us quit our real life jobs so we could do this full time.
Patreon.com/thatonetimeIwasabductedbyaliens.
And then if you guys want, call into our hotline and leave us a message. You could tell us a story. You could just say what's up, whatever's on your mind. Think of us as like your digital alien therapist hotline and just call us with your stories. And the phone number is
408-320-8481. Thank you guys so much. Have a great night.
We love you all and fuck you, Mountain View, California. Hello. Welcome back.
That was a struggle.
Bree is upset because she thinks that her timing was off on some of the videos.
Yeah,
She's upset.
the audio wasn't linked, and it's driving me crazy.
Yeah, she was like dying in the background.
Only
Thank you all
because I worked really hard on it to make the timing perfect, and then for whatever reason, like streaming it right now didn't match up. But that's okay. We've got to let the little things go.
Gotta let the little things go. Like nobody noticed but you, and you're fine. Yeah, loved it.
Thank you. That was a fun
Beautiful.
episode for us. We had a good time.
Yeah, I
We
like doing
love
the
Kurt
state
Russell.
episodes because I think that sometimes what happens is that we get when you talk about aliens and certain subjects, there's so much to dive into. And when you do a state episode, it's nice because it kind of puts a little bit of a constraint on you to only look in a certain area. So it's nice to kind of like focalize your research in one specific area on one thing. So I love doing the state episodes.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, there's so many different, stories and history, UFO history around the world, especially in the United States. And so it is nice to hone in on one location so that we can just focus on those certain instances, opposed to, getting all over the place. Because I'm sure, as people know, when you look into the subject, there's just so much. It's kind of mind-boggling. So the state episodes were a great way for us to focus on one state. And we know that we've left other things out in the state. So that was just kind of the biggest things at the time that we were focusing in on. I would love for us to get back to some of those things. Get back to maybe a state episode. There were many states that we wanted to do, bigger states that we wanted to do.
Yeah, we didn't do that many of them, in all honesty. We probably only did maybe about I want to say 7 to 10 state episodes, and there's quite a few more to go. We never did. We never did California. We never did Alaska. We did New York. We did Arizona. We did Kentucky. We did Tennessee.
Wyoming.
We had some good ones. Australia is a really great place to look into. We thought about for a long time doing overseas stuff. That would be great.
I would like to conquer the states first. I think that Alaska would be a cool one to do. Alaska would be cool because we could do UFOs, but then we could also dive into the cryptid world with that. There's a lot of weird cryptids and UFO stuff that's happening in Alaska, so that would be cool. Tennessee, we could go visit Brad. Boots on the ground. Brad could show us around Tennessee.
That's what I'm saying. I would love. Here's me and Brie have always said from the beginning. Our dream is if some TV network just gives us cameras and a bunch of money to travel around the world and looked at UFOs and stuff. That's what we would do.
Yeah, I would love to go state by state and talk about all the weird things that happen there. I would love to look at what's happened in the past, but then also what's happening in the present and bring it to people experiencers in the state, it doesn't have to be something crazy oh, I see UFOs out my window every night, but just talking to, to have one episode that looks at older cases and then talks to people in the everyday life, the people that are in the chat, people that are on YouTube, those people that are yeah, I live here. I've had these experiences. It's nothing crazy, but this has happened. I think that would be cool. I would love to do that.
Bobby Broadway says, I want to camp at Skinwalker and Travis Walton Spot Alone. Same. I'd do both. Me and Brie have always, I think, openly said that we would do Skinwalker Ranch in a heartbeat if ever given the opportunity.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Why would you not? I don't understand when people are so scared.
Like, I get the fear behind it or whatever, but I think that at the end of the day, you're like wanting to experience something over trumps fear for me, and like that's an easy one. Also,
curiosity takes over.
Thank you for becoming a Patreon lover.
Thank you for becoming a Patreon of ours.
We love you. You're such a sweetheart.
All hail God Stopper.
All hail God Stopper. We're gonna make you your own overlay, but we don't have a video of you or a picture of you, so we'll have to come up with something.
Yeah, we used to, one of the things with these older episodes is we used to call out all of our Patreons in them, and things have changed now, so I had to cut them out, but hey, if we have a whole trail of Patreons again.
I was like, you know what? I have all of our Patreons down here at the bottom. We have Gobsteppa, Jessica, Stuart, Ray, Kevin, Tim, Bobby, Brian, Donna, Shay, and Vanessa.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.
So it's funny you say Vanessa. Vanessa's last on this list, but in this episode in particular, the Arizona episode, is the very first time that Vanessa became a Patreon. So when we were doing the shout outs of our Patreon, we were like, are you from Beaver Dam? We were like talking about that. We're like, oh my God, like welcome. We're like, welcome, Vanessa. Welcome to the Space Tribe.
Yes.
I thought that was so cute. I'm like, wow.
You know, it's interesting too, because a lot of people don't know. So way back in the day when we first started the podcast, something that me and Brie used to do really hard, which we don't do anymore pretty much at all, is like really look at the numbers of the things that we were doing and like where people were listening at. So like one of our highest locations other than Mountain View, California was Beaver Dam, Wisconsin. And it was like so random. We were like, why do we have like hundreds of listens in fucking Beaver Dam? Like who lives in Beaver Dam? Like if you live there, can you please tell us like who's listening?
Sound real? We're like, and then it's like some homeless person on the river.
And then Vanessa was just like, Vanessa was like, oh my God, that's my fault. I listen to you guys on repeat, and sometimes when I sleep, I don't apologize. We were like, damn, girl.
I'm glad that you mentioned that, because no one's gonna get that at the very end of every episode is fuck you, Mountain View, California. And that is because our number one listener base for our podcast was Mountain View, California. And people would come to us from all over. Like, I'm in Australia, I'm in New Zealand, I'm in the UK, I'm in, like all over the place. People would come to us and be like, I listened to your podcast and I love you. Yet Mountain View, California, who was the closest to us at the time, no one ever came forward.
Not one person. We would call them out all the time. We would constantly say on the podcast, if you're from Mountain View, you're just down the street from us. We go to Mountain View. Just reach out to us. That's all you have to do. We'll be friends.
And Mountain View, the home of Mountain View, is NASA. And the neighbors, Palo Alto, which, I mean, who knows? It could also register as Mountain View. Like Stanford is in Palo Alto. And so you have, I mean, there's just the connections and the weird things that happen in Silicon Valley are all right there, especially in the space world. So we were just like, who are you? And then it like kicked off the paranoia chain when we're like, oh, NASA's listening to us.
So it became like a tradition on the end of every episode. I had to say, fuck you, Mountain View, California, because I was just irritated at them at this point. Like, why are you listening? Tell us what's happening. Come forward. And they never, ever did.
Yeah, it was just so funny. And like, I know people that live in Mountain View, and I can guarantee you it's not them. So it's just like, who are you? Who are you? But it's just
Mountain
weird.
Dew, California.
Mountain Dew. That's great. It's just weird that it was like.
I just put the stream link in the chat if you guys want to come hang out. We're just hanging out, smoking weed Friday night.
It's just weird. I mean, it's not like any other city has popped up closer to us, but yeah, people that aren't shy and they love us, they would always message us. I'm over here, I listen to you. I'm over here, I listen to you. Why is the people closest to home not saying that they listen to us?
Yeah, I don't know. It's rude as shit.
Haters.
Hater. They're super jealous.
That was fun though. I'm so sad that you missed David Wilcock and
I
fucking
know. I'm sorry. Sometimes
Stephen
I have
Gray.
to pay
That's
attention
why
to the chat.
I know. That's why I told you to watch the video before.
I know. I'm
I do all this
sorry.
work to make Jamie happy, and she doesn't pay attention.
I'm sorry. There's so much going on, but I did see lots of things that made me laugh. We were talking to each other backstage, so she knows.
Thank
Hey girls,
you.
let me just say, you chicks rock. Keep it up, rolling the way you do. Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate that. It was secretly NASA or the Men in Black. It's 100% what I was thinking. And then what's interesting too is that other video I played the other day for Bree, when it was me and her. We were up at the observatory. NASA was there, so it was like brought a whole nother of our paranoia into shit. And they were like, "Oh yeah, we work in Mountain View," and I'm like, "Oh, they're here. They're following us. They know," because we did actually tell all of our fans exactly where we were going and what day we were going there and to come meet us up there.
We did. We told everyone on the podcast. We're like, meet us here. We're going here. We're gonna go camping. Meet us at the observatory. Like we can do night watches. And then those people, and we're just like, do you work in Mountain View? Yeah, we work for NASA in Mountain View. We're just like,
and then I just happened to wear a NASA shirt, and that's how the conversation got brought up. Like, there are no coincidences. Nothing is a coincidence. So that's what we were supposed to be there and do what we were doing, and do that painful, awful video. It was before we were ready for cameras.
I would be really happy if I never have to see that video again. If we could just wipe it, all of it.
It's back there. Like, people can go back and watch it. You don't have to watch it.
Ah, painful.
It was.
You know what's even more painful is that we sent that video in to someone. Like, what?
Well, I mean, I did edit it so it didn't look like that. Like, let's be fair.
Doesn't matter. Even if there were chunks of it, even if they're just chunks of it.
It was super painful. Yeah, it was super painful.
Because you have to think, like, if you want to be relevant in, like, the TV world, that is not it. It's not it. It's not it. But we tried.
We tried. We tried.
Speaking of TV, I just signed up for Tubi.
Everybody should sign up for Tubi.
Have you signed up?
I do have
For
Tubi.
free?
I have it on my Roku.
Oh, you do? You still have Roku?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, wow.
I don't have an Apple TV like you. I'm not fancy, and I don't have a smart TV. Thank you.
My TV is not nearly as smart as it could be because I see that some people have TikTok as a thing.
Okay, but I have a question for you. How big is your TV? Size-wise? Like, but what's the size of it? Like, maybe inches. Maybe
Which
like
one?
The one in the living room is like what, over 70?
It's not much over 70.
Maybe like 72.
Yeah.
And it takes up the entire wall. I don't know if Gaia
If Gaia offered us a show, you know what? I used to love Gaia. My answer is no, and I'll tell you why. Because I have talked with other people that are connected to Gaia and still are. And Gaia has this reputation of once you sign a contract with them, they pretty much own you. So it would limit what we do, what we say, and any other partnerships that we would like to have in the future. And that would be a no-go for me. Yes, it would probably be like a great thing for us, but also I don't think that we're Gaia material.
I was just going to say,
Gaia's very high vibe. And we're like we have like 1 foot in the Gaia door, and then we have like 1 foot in like the crazy bitch door. That's pretty much where we are.
No, so we're somewhere between Gaia and Comedy Central.
We're middle bitch.
Is what it is. We're middle bitches.
Yes. Middle bitches and Gaia and Comedy Central. Like, no one ever thought that could happen, but honestly, like,
that's
we are
where we're
it.
at.
We are it. Somehow we've managed to have a foot in both sides, and there shouldn't be a bridge, but we built the bridge.
Yeah.
And I don't think we'd ever go back.
And here's the thing. One thing that me and Brie will never do is put ourselves in positions where we will be held down and like have to be kind of like censored or anything like that. We're just not those kind of people. We'll only do projects that allow us to continue to be creative. And we have some projects coming up that we can't talk about that is out there to go download Tubi. And, like there's things out there that we are going to be doing that don't tie us to contracts and things like that and make it so that we can be here every day on YouTube doing what we're doing.
Yeah. It's a hard. Obviously, we want success. And I think that we work hard for it. I think we've been working hard for a long time, and we've been doing really good on the podcast. You guys, like, we've been doing this for a long time, and we've made this switch to video. It's more fun. I don't ever want to go back. So it's like a part of me really wants that success because we've worked so hard for it, and I think that we would be great. But at the same time, I also don't want to be anyone that we're not.
Mhm.
And I think we have to learn from other people's mistakes. When you take the success route, you lose your soul, you lose that creativity, you lose that freedom, and then you're no longer what you started off to be. You become what some other figure or whatever corporation, you name it, wants you to be.
Mhm.
And I don't think we ever want to do that. So, of course, I'm sure everyone could agree that if they had the choice, they would just be who they are and be great at it and have success doing that. And so right now, my fingers are crossed that we will have that opportunity to be us at all times
Mhm.
and be successful at it. And that's hard. I mean, like, it's a dream,
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
a dream. But I think with all things, if you have passion and you have commitment, which we've had passion and we've had commitment for a long time, that if you just keep going, things have to work out,
Eventually, yeah. Here's the thing. There's no such thing as failure in my life, I've decided. So we're just going to be great and keep doing our shit and putting stuff out there for you guys. And you know what? As long as you guys keep watching, we're going to keep making stuff. And I really like doing these rewinds and like going over our old content because I think our old content is so drastically different from our new content. And it kind of shows shows like how we became into who we are and like how we ended up researching and really diving into this subject.
I love Bobby Broadway's comment.
Mhm.
I love Tom
Pull it up.
DeLonge.
Let me see.
And I think that he's really no longer a part of To the Stars Academy. So I feel like Jamie should forgive him and welcome him in. And
So
if
here's
he
the thing.
needs
So
a
To the
home,
Stars Academy.
I
To the
have a
Stars
home for
Academy.
him.
To the Stars Academy dropped the Academy and they're just To the Stars and they're a media company now. And all the government people are still on board. They're still there. They didn't go anywhere. But they're no longer an academy. I'm not quite sure what that means.
They were never an academy. It was a stupid name.
I agree.
Stupid ass name. But I love Tom DeLonge. I love Blink-182. And I think it would be really cool if Tom DeLonge joined our show too. So if anyone knows Tom.
Listen, if Tom wants to come on and I think Tom would be great on butt stuff. I think he has a sense of humor and he would love it. He could bring maybe his own UFO. He could bring his own UFO videos if he wants, and we can talk about them. Is that who we should tweet at? If you guys could go to Twitter and tweet at Tom DeLonge and ask if he'll do butt stuff with us.
To be honest, though, we can't flood the chat because like that kind of happened to us one time, and we could have had a guest, and then he was like, absolutely not, because his Twitter was flooded with inquiries to join the show.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
I know exactly who you're talking about. I remember that situation.
That was so awkward. That was Jason Quit.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved him. And then I was like, okay, we have to go say something. So we said something to him in person. And it was so awkward. It was just so like
awkward. You know what?
Sorry, we have fans and we have listeners who went after it, and he's just like,
and we're like, oh, okay, sorry. It's just like a lot.
I have a custom Tom DeLonge. What? I have a Tom DeLonge custom baby blue Stratocaster. What's that? For some reason, I read Stratosphere. And I was like,
Oh.
what? There's a Tom DeLonge stratosphere?
Listen, everything happens for a
the
reason.
situation was bad, Michael, if you only knew.
It was
You
so
only knew.
awkward, and I want to say more, but I feel like it would not benefit any of us if I said any more about the situation, so we shouldn't.
So we'll just put a stop.
We'll
Spooky,
stop
what are
on that
you
one. Oh,
doing?
what are you doing?
Can you please get on the StreamYard?
Situation. Love you. Yeah, get in here, Spooky, if you're fucking awake.
Did you say situation?
Yeah, it's a situation. I always situation.
Situation.
Oh man, Kathy, my sweet angel. My sweet angel Kathy. Hello, BB.
Kathy, what do we have to do to get you on the stream?
I know. I was like, what do I have to pay you? You don't have to show your face. You could have you could change your voice if you want to. What do we have to do? Desperately.
He has a new book out. That's cool.
He does. I saw him
like
posting
Jason
pictures
Quitt.
of it on Twitter. We like him.
I do. I got into Jason Quitt many years ago now.
Jason Quitt
he was
would
on the
not do butt
Kevin Moore
stuff.
show. No.
Jason Quitt would not
That's
do
not
butt
his
stuff.
Not on air. That's not his vibe.
It's not his vibe.
It's not his vibe. Although, I mean, if we had a different name, maybe. I feel like the name is really killing us at this point. What is up with the names, Jamie? There's that one time I was abducted by aliens, way too long. No one likes it.
Butt
and
stuff.
then butt stuff.
Oh, look who's fucking
There she
here. Look who's fucking here. Why aren't you in bed?
This bitch.
No,
It's
but
like
I've been
4
working
a.m.?
actual job.
Is it like 4 a.m. there?
It is. I'm still technically working, but hi.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I've just been working. I'm fried.
I've
been at it since like
Some milk,
early.
some mother's
today.
milk.
I just heard you guys talking about Jason Quitt. Jason is an awesome person. I've known him for a couple years.
right?
Oh, okay. Well, can you tell him to stop his beef with us then?
Let's
Why is
air
it?
it
What?
out.
He's got beef with you?
This is what happened. I'm going to tell you what happened. I'm going to spill the beans. Jamie,
Okay.
take a back seat.
I'm just not even going to talk.
So, I wanted to have Jason on the stream, okay, because I loved him. So I told Jamie. She tweeted at him and then set the bots to also tweet at him.
So we could get his attention.
So to get his
Yeah,
attention.
that's not a way to do that.
So
And then
he became flooded on his Twitter, and
then he got
freaked out.
He got super paranoid, and we was like, people are watching me, and I was like, oh my god, no, that's not what we meant to do. We were just trying to get a bunch of likes on something so that you would notice it.
And he was like, absolutely not. So then it was super awkward because he was just like, what the fuck, right? So then the next time when we saw him in person, it was like on me because I was like, oh my God, I've always loved Jason. I feel bad. We ruined this opportunity. And he thinks we're like, we have all these, I don't know what he thought. So then we came up to him, little girls. Jason, can we have a second of your time?
We love you. We're sorry.
Hi, here's the story.
He thought like we
You're
weren't
upset,
real.
Philip.
He thought
So we
like
tried to
weren't
explain.
real at some point. He was like, "Are you
He
even
didn't
real
think we were
people?" That's why we approached him in person, thinking that
Was
would
like,
help the situation.
We're real.
Like,
We're
hi.
real.
He turned up to the Truth Seekers Halloween show, and I'm fairly sure that he was tripping.
No fucking way.
And he had like eyeliner and stuff on.
Was
and
this year?
Last year. It was a
Maybe
fun
he would
time.
be
It
into
was a
butt
fun
stuff.
show. We were all
Jason
drinking
Quitt.
and-
The Jason Quitt
The Jason Quitt.
Interesting.
came to Truth
That's just my
Seekers.
personal opinion. I'm not saying he was. It's just his behavior gave me that indication. As
I
a
don't know.
fellow
He
space
was-
traveler.
Right. As a fellow
Interesting.
astronaut.
As a fellow.
It was super awkward though, because like we really had to gather the cojones to, well, Jamie of course didn't have to, but I had to gather the cojones to walk over and try to explain myself. And
He was just like not having it.
He was just like, I don't know. He like didn't believe us. He didn't like us or what. And I'm not used to people not liking us. Not to like,
Well,
toot our
I mean,
horns,
you
but I think that
you
we're
did,
very
like,
personable, cool people.
Trying to
So I
harass
was just
him.
like super
We did-
bothered
we
that
did
he wasn't
harass
feeling
him.
us. I was like,
So that's the
everybody
thing. That's
likes
kind of
us.
our vibe. Is we're very harassy. Unfortunately, well, I mean, we were a lot
Yeah.
more back then. So I mean, We don't do that now. It was a lesson learned. And we live our life. I love that about Jamie. Yeah, I just give no fucks about anything. I just really don't.
Yeah,
I
Jamie's
wish I
not hard
did.
about it. She doesn't care, but I'm just like, Jamie, I was so
care about
upset when it
anything.
happened. I was so mad.
But then we've had wonderful, wonderful interviews with people where people just come on and we are charming and harassing, and
But we
they
didn't
love it,
harass
and-
people to get them.
I
I've
feel
never
like we've
had to
harassed
harass
people.
anyone.
I
I've
feel like we've
never
harassed people.
harassed one person for an interview ever.
We've at least had to have harassed one
No,
person.
no.
You
Not one
harassed
person.
me into this job.
Not
I
one
was like,
person.
okay, we've sort of kind of harassed Billy Carson because he flaked on us the first time.
We
and
didn't
we kind of-
harass. We were just like, where are you?
I mean, we were like, we were kind of
Where
on
are
him.
you, Billy?
We've definitely
He's hard to get on. He's hard to get, and like anything he does, he's hard. So
we've also
That's what she said.
So we've also
that's
like
what she wishes she could say.
we've also had people ignore us, and we've just both sit here like on stream as the time passes, like asking each other how long we wait for. We've done that before.
You snooze, you lose.
That was fun. We waited, I think, what was like a half an hour, and we were like, okay, I think we're gonna go now.
For who, Carson?
No, for Laura.
Oh, fuck.
You dirty slut, you taste delicious.
You
You
dirty
dirty
slut.
slut.
And she never came.
Delicious. Harass Emery and Dodie.
That's it. No, we don't want either of them. No, I would take Emery Smith. I don't know if I'd take Dodie.
I don't know if I'd take Dodie. I don't. Emery Smith would be interesting. I just think it would be wild because, like, I just don't think I would know what's going on the whole time. I'd be like, what's happening?
The first time I saw Emery, no, not the first time. The last time I saw Emery Smith, I actually believed him as a thing. And
You're talking about the elevator?
yes. So like I'm different now. I don't think I'd be shy now. Now
No.
I'm like so ready for conferences because I wouldn't be shy. Meet me at Contact. I'm gonna have fucking all the passes and I'll be back at
Catch me at Contact. How about that?
Catch me at Contact. How about that? But in the
Savage.
elevator, I was shy girl. He was like, I like your bracelets. And I was like, what?
Imposter.
When I was in the elevator with her, and I'm just like looking at her like,
You're like, Bree, say something. And I was just like bracelets. I was just like,
mm-hmm.
I mean, to
time
be
has
honest,
changed.
I'm
TBH, time has changed.
kinda on the same wavelength as Bobby there.
I
Yeah,
feel that.
right,
That could happen.
right.
Emery has a lot of Botox I've seen recently. Very fucking
just
cool,
wait.
Jesse.
Give me 10 years. I'm going to have a lot of Botox too.
Mr. Big Feet, finally. Hello.
Actually, I
Is
don't
that-
know. I'd be
Is
too
that
scared.
Sasquatch?
No, just Mr. Big Feet.
You
Hello.
guys see me as fully Botoxed in 10
Could
years?
you imagine looking in the
Please
chat
don't.
and seeing Sasquatch there?
I would die. I would literally die.
For UFOs, baby.
Do you all want to see like a quick preview of some snow and what we're
Yeah.
doing at work for like
Yeah.
2 minutes?
Yeah,
That was
100%.
my Botox face.
100%.
Although they say if you start Botox now, it freezes the wrinkles, so then they won't get wrinkles.
They won't get better.
So
Yeah, they won't get
I
more.
should start now. My mom told me like 3 years ago that I should start getting Botox. I was like, what? But that's because I'm a very animated person. So like I always have scrunch nose.
Yeah.
I'm
Are we
Oriental.
gonna see the snow now? You're not. You are
Do I
Hispanic
look
and white.
Asian? I am Hispanic. Jesse, also, I don't think that people can say Oriental anymore. I think that's like now a.
We are the only company in the world that does this, by the way.
Is that a UFO? Oh my god! Do you ever check these
What?
cameras for UFOs?
I guess if I
'Cause I
I
mean-
didn't check specifically for UFOs, but if I saw one, I'd be like, "Hey, that's a UFO." It's cool stuff. There's gonna be like 3 feet of snow.
My bad, Asian. Do I look Asian? Is it because I
If
have
you're-
hooded eyes?
if you're in Massachusetts, stock up.
What's that mean?
It's gonna snow like a lot. Well, on Cape
Like a
Cod
lot.
especially. There's gonna be like 3 or 4 feet of snow in Cape Cod.
Look at the sun's coming up for spooky.
Wow.
Really?
Do I look
What?
Asian?
What?
Is it the bangs? Is it the eyes?
I'm so confused.
People in the
Jesse
chat are
said
saying that Bree's
Oriental.
and then racist.
No, just Jesse said, not people. Once you say
Oh,
people,
sorry.
that means more than one.
More than one.
Right.
Asian Bree.
Brie. This is the winged liner. I remember one time I was getting my nails done a long time ago. And the lady was like, you have, like, she's talking about my winged eyeliner. She's like, oh, you pretend. It's like, what? Is that what that means? Okay, no, you don't look Asian. Thank you, Dave.
I would be questioning everything for a long time after. Like, what did she mean? I pretend. What does she mean?
Jesse, I just want to know if you think I look Asian.
Spooky pooping at the haunted stall. Nah, you went farting in the ghost toilet.
Oh my god.
So much like you, Jamie. It's scary.
Spooky.
Hold on, let me start it over.
Spooky pooping. Spooky pooping at the haunted stall. Nah, you went farting in the ghost toilet.
Spooky pooping. Spooky pooping at the haunted stall. You went farting in the ghost toilet. Is that what she says?
No, you don't.
Spooky pooping.
Spooky pooping.
Spooky pooping at the haunted stall.
Spooky spooping.
No.
Wait, no.
Stop it. Just stop. No. I have a song for you guys. Are you done?
Okay. Yeah.
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Are you
I have a
done?
song.
Are you done?
I have a song.
What have
Are
I
you
been
done?
up
Are you
to?
done?
I have a
Are
song.
you done?
Are you
Who?
done?
Jamie
What?
wants to watch Ozark.
My name is
Why?
Dave.
I mean,
Do I remind you of Ozark?
Watch this song.
Roger.
I make it to poop,
Dad?
make it to pee, watch Sopranos on TV. I stay dehydrated, stay online, put things in my cart but I never buy. I think about reading a book. Then I remember I don't read books. I feel distressed about my career. I stew in my regrets and fear. I consider working out, but I do not actually work out. I Google, why am I depressed? And Google says, 'cause you're a mess. Ignore phone calls from my friends. Start a project I'll never end. I ask, should I go back to school? And then I'm like, absolutely not. I wonder when I last saw the dentist. Look up random houses to find out what the rent is. Compare myself to everyone else. If they have what I want, I hate myself. I make it to poopy, make it to pee, watch Sopranos on TV. And sometimes I buy myself Chipotle.
I feel like I just traveled
I'm
back
making a
to
poopy. Making a pee.
2009 and was listening to like early John LeJoux songs. Do you remember John LeJoux?
No, I have no idea what the fuck that is. That's
Wait,
European
hold
shit.
on. I have a video
What?
that is also a
You never heard of John
back
LeJoux?
in time. Where is it?
I don't know.
Here it is.
Just a
you know
regular,
this?
everyday, normal guy.
Do you know this? Do you know this?
Bees on my head, but don't call me a pea head. Bees on my head, but don't call me a bee head. Bruce Lee's on my head, but don't call me a Lee head. Now please excuse me, I got to get my tree fed. You wear name brands and I make my own clothing. I hang out with an apple who loves self-loathing. I hate myself.
I don't know who he is.
Pancake on my
Andy
face, make me
Galifianakis?
extra happy. I like shampoo bottles that sit on my lappy. Cause it's my show, you can't tell me what to do. When life hands me lemons, I make beef stew. So yo, I gotta go, it's time for
Am
me
I
to rock
asleep
it.
right
I
now?
put bologna in my left pocket. Smear
Is this
some
some
cream
kind
cheese
of
in my
dream?
gold locket. Cause it's
You
my
never
show,
watched
I'm
Andy
Andy
Galifianakis?
Milonakis. It's my show, I'm Spandy Schmillish.
Who?
It's my show, I'm Andy Milonakis.
Wait, is this like he looks
Andy
like he's like
Milonakis.
20, but he's actually like 45
He'd
or
always
some
be
shit.
like, I
Yes.
got pea head. Don't call me
Right.
a pea head.
Right. Yeah, I know who you mean.
Oh, we love you, Keats. I hope you're feeling better. How are you doing, my love?
Me too. I hope you're doing well.
I hope you're doing all right.
Save your voice, man.
The
right,
COVID,
Like
Yeah.
I'd love you to come in, but like I don't want you to do that at the
COVID
detriment
is
to
rough.
like
Ruff,
your
ruff.
voice.
It is rough out there with the COVID.
Piggy dipping.
Go to bed, Spooky.
Yeah,
I was
Spooky, go
about
bed.
to. Well, I am working, but
No, stop working and get out of here.
But I have some time because we're driving from Boston to Cape Cod, and that's like an hour's drive. And I was like, I can hop in.
Not really.
Spiritually,
I'm not driving, but I live in the front of the car and the camera sometimes. It's my job.
I got peas on my head. They'll call me a pea head. Go, Rona. COVID's no joke, y'all. It'll fuck your shit up. Make you want to die. What did you put in the chat? What's in the chat?
That was the wrong one. I apologize. I'll find it.
I'm confused.
Okay.
We're all good. All right, guys. We're going to get out of here.
It
We
has
love
been
you
a
all.
great time.
We love you. We'll see you guys next Friday night for the next rewind. We love you all. Good night.
Shout out to Jason Quit. Don't harass him.
Don't harass him. Okay, goodbye.